Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Jumping Let's Play. Today we're taking a look at the abstract game of art, Swatch. So we'll head down below, take a look at how it's played and come back up for our final thoughts. See you in a moment. So here we have our setup ready to go for Swatch. We'll discuss this and then we'll go through the gameplay itself. So we'll start with the side here. These are our 6 Swatch decks. These are what we're going to be using to complete our own scheme. To complete the scheme, you're going to need to collect one of the 4 colours from each of these Swatch decks. So for example, we've got 1, 2 and 3 here. So we could get these top 3 here. If one of them's gone, we can get the one below it and so on. Here we've got our colour guides, just in case you want that there to tell you which of the cube colours go into the red, green and blue. Up at the top here we've got our resources. I've just divided them into 2 parts for the moment, but we've got our red, green and blue discs here and our cyan, yellow and magenta on this side. Then we've got our shared boards where we will be competing for different resources, and the deck at the top there that will perform 2 functions. We draw at the start of each turn and it will replenish our pool of cards in the middle here. Each player is given a player marker, so we just pick 3 here for a 3-player game, and then what they will do is at the start of the turn everyone will pick a card from here, draw a card, and then they will take turns in placing their player marker on one of these and performing that action, and then they get to perform a action from their hand if they would like to do so. To randomly determine whoever starts first, you could do it like whoever's last did a painting, or you can just randomise them like so. But for the sake of this, we're just going to go in this order, and we're going to be the grey one for the video. So, as I said, the objective of the game is to collect a swatch from each of your 3 here to create your own colour scheme. To do that, we're going to need to collect these types of cards and then these types of cards in order to achieve each of these. So everyone draws a card from the top of the deck. So we've got our one, the other 2 draw theirs. Let's just leave them over there. So we've got an add 3 cyan, so that is particularly useful. So what we will do is we will decide which of these 5 along here we're going to go for. So we're going to take this one here, add 4 yellow. So what we do is we leave ours in the space there. We take this one and perform that action. So we're going to take ourselves 4 yellow, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got those there, and then if we'd like to, we can perform an action from our hand if we've got any cards. We do. We've got the add 3 cyan, so let's take our 3 cyan. So we're off to a nice start here. Let's just add a discard pile somewhere there. We're on our way to getting some colours mixed. So everyone else will perform their actions. Let's just say they did that one and they did this one here. And then they perform whatever actions were from their cards or not. So now that we've got our first row done, we go to the next turn, and whoever's first in the first position will take the first action. So for us, for this one, it is us. So we draw a card. We've got 5 cyan there. And then we need to decide which of these we're going to go for. So we're going to go here and take this one. So that is 6 magenta. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 magenta there. So we've got a nice little mix of stuff. And we've got this one, which we will do now. So that is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we just take a moment just to have a quick look at the different swatches that we've got here. So we've got this one where we need in total 3 cyan, 5 magenta, 6 yellow in order to mix in various quantities to make these colours. So we're nearly there on that one. We're just a bit shy on our yellow, and then the same with these 2 as well, the top cards there. So we're not too far away from perhaps completing our first swatch. we might want to start thinking about mixing colours on our next turn. So then these players will do their actions. He might decide to go there, and then this one may decide to go there. So that is everyone taking their turn, and then we will just quickly refill this row here, and then we'll perform the next action. So we draw our card from the top. We just imagine the other two have done theirs as well. So we've got a mix 4. This is quite handy because we've got a lot of colours here that we want to mix up. So that's something we're going to take a look at in a moment. Important to note, with the mix 4, you choose one of these 3 colours and then you mix all for that colour. So we can't do a couple on reds and one on green, one on blue. It all have to be red, all green or all blue. But we've got to wait to take our action. So we've drawn our cards, everyone else does theirs. So they're going to start mixing as well. They're going to start mixing. And then that leaves us. So let's just take a look here, see what we want to do. So we could go quite nicely, start on this one here. We need 4 reds. We have 4 magenta and 4 yellow. So we could perform a mix 4. And then we would need 2 green and 1 blue. So we've not got quite enough for our green. And our blue, we can only mix up to 2 of those. So what we will do then is we will go here. We will perform this mix action now. So we're going to mix our blue. So we've got 2 cyan, 2 magenta. Those go in there. And we collect our 2 blue cubes. We then get to perform an action from our hand, which we're going to do the mix 4. And then we're going to mix the 4 yellow and the 4 magenta. And that is going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4 reds there. So now we're really looking for yellow in order to get these green ones, and we can potentially get our very first swatch. So let's just replenish this row here. And then we go to our next action. So everyone draws their card. Here's our card. Our other players drew their cards as well. And we've got yellow, exactly what we need here. So that's really good there. So we've got to wait again. So this player here may decide that they want this one. So they take that and they perform that and decide if they want to play any cards from hand. This player here, they're going to take this mix 3, for example, and then that leaves us. So let's go for this mix. This mix 1 here. So, no, we can't go for that mix 1, sorry. Let's go for the trades. So we're going to trade. We can trade with either anyone else or with the supply. Let's trade with the supply. So let's swap one of those for one of those. And then we're going to add 3 yellow. We're going to perform that action. Okay, so now that we are first in the pile, we will take our action now. So we draw. We've got a mix 1 there, so that could be useful. Let's go here and mix 1. So let's chuck those in and mix that for a green. And we get to play a card from hand. We're going to mix 1 again. And we're going to take that for another green. Now, as soon as you have enough to fulfill one of the cards, you can perform that straight away. So here we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got our 2 green and our 1 blue, which means we get to take this card and add it to our very own swatch, our own colour scheme. So we've got Pop Punk Princess there. That goes here, and we've managed to complete our first part of the scheme. We've got 2 more to go. So then all of these will be added back to the supply. Okay, and then we carry on. So we'll keep going until someone is the first one to get their 3 swatches. but you'll also need to make sure that you don't have any colours in your own pool as well. So you can use your cards, you can discard them without any effect to get rid of one of your cubes or coloured discs. That's will allow people to maybe catch up if they're just on the verge, and then you'll go to the end of that round if for whoever maybe either gets rid of all of these or if someone else is able to complete theirs as well, and then you'll see who's won. And there's a few tiebreakers as well. First one being the fewest amount of colours, the next one being the fewest cards in hand. So there we go, that's a quick run through of Swatch. We'll head back up top and discuss our final thoughts. See you in a moment. So I hope that was of some use to you. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the game. So first up, we'll just go through the components and then we'll talk about the gameplay itself. Components really hit it out of the park for me. Primarily a card game, so sometimes there's not much to say other than the cards are really nice, they're nice and clear, but they sort of go above and beyond that. So they've got the nice linen finish on them that I do prefer. They shuffle easier, they don't get stuck to each other. It just allows for you to sort of randomise them a bit better, and they just feel a lot nicer in your hand when you're using them. They just feel a bit more durable. So we've got the different sets of cards set out here, so we'll sort of go through these because they all sort of serve different purposes. So our main deck of cards here, everything is super clear. I mean, let's just take a nice hand here. You can see here that every card, there's no confusion about what that card does for you. And it's also a nice bonus that they are colourblind friendly as well. So if you're not able to distinguish between some of the colours, you have a bit of a hard time, then the cards are going to tell you exactly what you need to add and in what quantities anyway, so it's useful for everyone, but everything is nice and clear, so really, really like that. For people who may be colourblind, they do include in the solo portion of the game these trackers for the cyan, magenta and yellow, and then for the red, green and blue that you'll eventually be using to get your swatches. So if you do have difficulty distinguishing between those colours, just grab a cube, grab a disc, you can just track them on here, make it nice and easy for you. I just really enjoy that. I think that's a fantastic thing to include in the game. Our schemes are going to serve two purposes, so we randomise these, hand one out to each player, or however you would like to do that. But on the back, as you saw in the demo, we've got a little chart there that's going to tell us what mixes we need for each of the three colours, red, green and blue there. So a nice little handy reference just in case you do need it. And then with our swatch cards themselves, you can see here we've got not only the colours that we need at the end at the bottom here, as well as a clear description of each of those colours. We also have the colour itself, and then along the top here it will tell you the exact combination of, or the exact quantities of each cyan, magenta and yellow that you're going to need to be able to complete this swatch to add to your scheme. So that's really handy, and obviously you can then combine it with this to be able to get those mixes perfect. And then on the back, once you've done them, we've got these cool full colour, full cards backs here, each with their own little description of colours. I believe these came from the Kickstarter, but I've had a look through some of them. They're really cool, and they still remind you on the bottom there which swatch deck they come from. So overall, yes, very, very clear, very inclusive as well. A game about colours isn't always easy for some people, but this one I think knocks it out of the park for how well it does that, how accommodating it is for that. We've got all our cubes here, just standard the wooden cubes there. We've got our player markers as well, a lot bigger because they are discs, but a lot bigger than the normal discs, so there's no worry about not being able to differentiate them from anything else. And then the cubes and the discs for the various colours are quite clear as well. One's a cube, one's a disc, so nice little touches there for those. The rulebook itself, very well laid out, quite a short rulebook as well. Nice descriptions of different parts of the gameplay. As I said, we get to about halfway through, so that's about sort of page 7.5, and we're at the end of the game. And then it just tops us off with a little solo mode at the back here, just in case you do want to play solo like me. You just can't wait for people. You just got to play those games. And we've got a nice little achievements list on the back here as well, if you want to make it a little bit more competitive. So A+ on the rulebook as well. So for the gameplay, it's card drafting. It's one of my favourites. It mixes it really nicely with the resource management. Brings to mind games like Splendor, Floriferous, Century Spice Road. So if you've played games like that, then this is something that you are really going to enjoy. But part of this game is also the efficiency that you're using your cards with as well. So you effectively get 2 actions every turn. As I said at the start of the turn, as you would have seen in the video, everyone draws a card, and then they get to they have to pick a card from the middle for whatever active row they're on and play that card, and then they get to play a card from their hand as well. So if you're playing super efficiently, then there should never be cards left in your hand at the end of each turn, but it gives you that option to hold cards up just in case you do need them, because at the end of the game you will, if you have any of these cubes left, you're going to need to get rid of them in order to be able to win the game. So having those cards there, a little bit of versatility that allows you to play as efficiently as you like, and then maybe hold on to some for the long game as well. So that is everything for Swatch. If you would like to give it a go, if you like what you saw here, come on down. We have this in our library. It's in our demo area, as you can see we've got here at the moment. So I'd be happy to sit down with you and give you a game of Swatch. And we have plenty in stock as well if you'd like to take a copy home. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Any comments, as always, put them in the bit below, and we'll see you on the next one.